Good evening and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment meeting. It is Thursday, March the 7th, 2024, and I will call this meeting to order at 6:45 p.m. I would, at this time, regarding this Committee of Adjustment is regarding a minor variance application for Roy Schreiber Farms Limited. And I would encourage anyone who wishes to participate publicly to attend the podium and sign in while we go through the rest of the formalities here. I'll remind panelists of any disclosures of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Seeing none noted, move down to section 3, adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting. That is the minutes from the Committee of Adjustment meeting held February the 1st, 2024 be approved as presented. I need a mover and seconder for that. Committee member Weisler, committee member Chilcott, all in favor? That is carried. So this evening, we're dealing with application minor variance A0324 Roy Schreiber Farms Limited 53777 Talbot Line. Purpose of this variance is to permit the conversion of an existing two-story single detached dwelling to a supplementary farm dwelling to accommodate seasonal farm laborers in accordance with section 2.1.10.1 of Bayham Official Plan. The effect of this variance will be to permit the conversion of an existing two-story single detached dwelling of 240 square meters, that's 2,583 square feet, in gross floor area to a seasonal supplementary farm dwelling to accommodate a maximum of 10 seasonal farm laborers in the existing permanent building for the time period between April 1st and November 30th. And at this point, we will entertain a staff presentation. Report DS 0724 by Margaret Underhill, Secretary Treasurer, regarding the Committee of Adjustment minor variance A0324 Roy Schreiber Farms Limited 53777 Talbot Line. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose and the effect of the variance have been read aloud. I'll jump into discussion. On May the 4th, 2023, bylaw 2023-032 was passed authorizing the execution of a temporary use and demolition agreement between Roy Schreiber Farms Limited and the Corporation of the Municipality of Bayham. The purpose of that agreement was to permit the owners to reside in the existing single detached dwelling while constructing a new house on the same property. The agreement requires the demolition of an existing dwelling when the new dwelling is complete. However, in this case, the owners have approached the municipality asking not to demolish, but to convert and deem the existing dwelling as a supplementary farm dwelling to the farm operation. The Schreiber family operates a large dairy farm and have expressed their need for housing for seasonal farm laborers. The planner's memorandum attached, dated February 28, 2024, outlines the full analysis of the 4 tests and the variances required for compliance. As a committee, you must be satisfied that the application meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act. Staff and planner concur the application meets the criteria and recommends the granting of the minor variance to permit the conversion of an existing 2-story single detached dwelling of 240 square meters in gross floor area to a supplementary farm dwelling to accommodate a maximum of 10 seasonal farm laborers in the existing permanent building for a time period between April 1st and November 30th. This is all subject to the owner entering into a development agreement with the municipality for items listed in their report, as in limiting the number for occupation, removal of the supplementary accommodation should the use cease after 2 years, that the buildings and site be maintained according to municipal bylaws. The agreement will establish the seasonal time period, April 1st to November 30. The agreement asks to ensure that there is sufficient on-site capacity for potable water. It also asks to ensure there is sufficient septic system capacity. And it asks to ensure that building permits are obtained in accordance with the Ontario Building Code if necessary or as necessary. Should the Committee of Adjustment grant this minor variance to permit the conversion of the existing dwelling to a supplementary farm dwelling and there are no appeals filed, bylaw number 2023-032 authorizing the temporary use and demolition agreement may be repealed by council, and that would come back at a future time. So the recommendation is before you. The condition of The variance is listed as a development agreement is to be executed within 6 months of the minor variance approval. So that again will come back for council's consideration. And I leave it with you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much for that report. Next section would be presentations by the applicant or the agent. I don't see the applicant here. I assume there's no agent present. Moving on to public submissions. Does anyone in the gallery wish to make a submission on this application? Just checking around the podium. Moving on to section 8, committee questions and discussion. Does anyone have any questions? Far too easy. Yes, Mark, please.
Mr. Chair, I will add that there were no public comments received for this application.
Thank you for that. All right. We're getting closer to the decision. I would simply make the comment that it makes a lot of sense. The fact that we don't have a lot of excess residential or supplementary farm dwellings available. It makes a lot of sense in this case for this application. So, seeing no further discussion or questions, I'll put the motion forward and we'll see where it goes. That Committee of Adjustment Secretary Treasurer's Report DS 0724 regarding the Roy Schreiber Farms Limited minor variance be received. And that the Committee of Adjustment considered all written and oral submissions received on this application, the effect which helped the committee to make an informed decision. And whereas the committee agrees that the proposed variance as presented meets section 45(1)(1) of the Planning Act and is considered minor. Therefore, application A 0324 submitted by Roy Schreiber Farms Limited pursuant to section 45 of the Planning Act for a minor variance is granted to allow relief from municipality of Bayonne zoning bylaw number Z 456/2003, section 5.2, permitted uses, to permit the conversion of an existing two-story single detached dwelling of 240 square meters, 2,583.3 square feet, in gross floor area to a supplementary farm dwelling to accommodate a maximum of 10 seasonal farm laborers in the existing permanent building for the time period between April 1st and November 30th, subject to the owner entering into a development agreement with the municipality. A condition, a development agreement to be executed within 6 months of the minor variance approval. Is anyone interested in moving and seconding that? Committee member Froese will move. Seconded by committee member Weiser. All in favor? That is carried. Move to adjournment. That the Committee of Adjustment meeting for the consideration of minor variance application A 0324 be adjourned at 6:53 p.m. And that in accordance with the regulations of the Planning Act, notices of decision be circulated by the Secretary Treasurer accordingly. Mover and seconder, please. Committee member Weiser and committee member Chilcott. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We are adjourned. Good to go. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of council. It is 7 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. I should mention also it is Thursday, March the 7th, 2024. Remind members of the disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. I see none noted. I don't believe there are any additional items for the agenda this evening.
No items, Mr. Mayor.
Announcements. Anybody have an announcement this evening? Councilor Chilcott.
Thank you. There's a few events coming on for St. Patty's Day. They have the Luck of the Irish live music at the Periscope Playhouse, which is sold out. So if you didn't get your ticket, you're not going. St. Patty's Day dance at the Stratfordville Hall through the SHF. And there's an Easter bingo on the 22nd, put on by the SCC. And then on the 23rd, the Vienna Lions have their gun show.
Thank you for that.
That's it until we have our next meeting.
Well,
Might even go past it.
for those who are disappointed and don't get into a St. Patty's Day dance, you can always come out on the 17th and have breakfast in Vienna from 8 till 1.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Green eggs if you like.
No, thank you.
No, no ham. Any other announcements from anyone? All right, thank you for that. We have no presentations or delegations this evening. Moves us to section 7, adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting, which includes the regular meeting of council held February the 15th, the statutory planning meeting held February the 15th, and the special meeting of council held February the 27th, 2024. Everyone's had opportunity to peruse those minutes. If there are no errors or omissions, I'd accept a mover and seconder for the following. That the minutes of the regular meeting of council held February the 15th, 2024, the minutes of the statutory planning meeting held February the 15th, 2024, and the minutes of the special meeting of council held February the 27th, 2024 be approved as presented. Deputy Mayor Weiser. Councilor Probst. All in favor. That's carried. Skipping down to section 11, physical services and emergency services. 11.2, reports to council. We report FR 0124 by Harry Barnick, Fire Chief, CEMC, regarding the solar eclipse, Monday, April the 8th, 2024. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. I'm here to present regarding the solar eclipse that's going to occur on April the 8th this year. Between the hours of 2 and 4:30 p.m., we're going to be experiencing a solar eclipse. Specifically between 3:16 and 3:19 p.m., we are going to be viewing a total solar eclipse. This is a rarity, to say the least. The last one the Southern Ontario experienced was in 1925, and we are not going to experience another one until 2099. The last total solar eclipse that Canada received was back in 1979, and the next one will be in 2069. The solar eclipse itself, the total solar eclipse, is about 110 to 115 kilometer wide path. This path is going to take, it's going to enter North America through Mexico, central Mexico, swing mainly northeastward towards Lake Erie. The path itself will go over Cleveland, stay on the lower edge of Lake Erie, travel through Buffalo, and then continue eastward through the lower portions of Lake Ontario, out through the St. Lawrence and exiting through Newfoundland. This rarity also could have some consequences to the municipality, and also at the same time have some advantageous possibilities. Glen Erie and Bayham are well places to view the solar eclipse via our beaches. However, the best way to predict the future is by going over the past. And I have to add that in Niagara Falls right now, you cannot buy a hotel room at a major chain. They're already all sold out for that day. And our school boards have already declared it'll be a professional development day, allowing the children to be off. So back in 2017 was the last solar eclipse that we had in North America. It entered through Oregon and exited through the Carolinas borders, North and South Carolina. During that, 7.4 million people migrated to the path to view the solar eclipse. This is the largest natural mass in their history. Can I continue? I did a little review of the past historical 5-year averages on April the 8th. So the temperature is averaging around 9 degrees Celsius. There's a 65% chance it'll be partly cloudy or fully overcast, with only a 35% being mostly clear or clear itself. And also there's a 27, almost 30% chance of 1 or more millimeter of rain. That is going to be the main factor of how people will migrate to this location, in my honest opinion. The province, the senior levels of government are limiting their assistance by information only. I've had, and myself and the CAO have had meetings, online meetings with the Provincial Emergency Operations Center. And we've also had meetings with Elgin County's Emergency Operations Center with regards to preparing for this event. The ministries such as the Ministry of Health are limiting their information as to proper eyewear protection. They have, and I will explain in the Elgin County handout, they actually quote the proper glasses and the proper how they need to be marked to ensure that they're proper. Our provincial parks will not open. They will remain closed. However, they will not stop people from entering onto their grounds to view the eclipse. We've had conversations with the Ontario Provincial Police, and they are talking with their regional staff, the regional office to find out, to figure out a better plan on how to properly respond to this eclipse. Ministry of Transportation is also looking on how this may affect traffic, including the 401, the QEW area, and whether they're going to have to defer people off the 401 and the QEW during this time. County has provided efforts to try to promote this event. They had a CTV News article on it. And during their article, they mentioned the county. And after that, on their website, they had over 20,000 hits that one day. So our senior staff have met. We've discussed this already. We are going to use the advertisement and the education from Elgin County's Operations Center and what they've already handed out and their promotion and their economic and development people that have produced an article. And we're going to use that as our basis to promote this event. However, there are some things that we need to look at possibly preparing for ourselves. Part of it will be, we don't know if we're going to have a traffic problem down there. If the people come as they are suggesting, it's well possible that we may have the lower end of Chatham completely plugged. It's possible that all around the beach may be also congested with traffic. This may be an opportunity for local businesses to open for the one day if the crowds do come. But again, going back to Oregon, what they found was traffic jams that were normally an hour were 6 hours. They ran out of food. they ran out of gas. They ran out of a lot of things because of this influx that they weren't prepared for. I can tell you that the province is speaking with the Canadian Petroleum Organization as to ensuring that they look at this day and hopefully get enough gas to the areas that are being affected. I personally have gone to a few businesses right now and have spoken to them and offered them the Elgin County flyer to ensure that they can prepare themselves. However, I plan on continuing to do that to ensure that they're ready. What I'm also suggesting is that that the municipality sets up their EOC on the Friday we speak, because it'll only be Friday that we actually know what the weather's going to be. It's about a 3-day accurate forecast from Environment Canada. Anything beyond that is based on scientific evidence. However, it's not accurate. So the Friday will give us a good day. On the Saturday, we will meet to see if there's any updates on the Sunday. And then the Monday, we shall meet in person to ensure that we're ready for anything that needs to take place. That is my presentation to council. And before you, there are some suggestions. Is there any questions that you have of me?
Well, thank you very much for that presentation. Very, very much appreciated. Any questions from members of council? I wouldn't wonder, it's probably catching a lot of people by surprise, not thinking, well, what's the big deal? We've had eclipses before, but this is a total eclipse, and Elgin is primed as a great viewing area. So we could expect a large influx of people. So it could be challenging. So it's best to be prepared to deal with than not. So thank you, Chief, for being involved in that and keeping up to speed. I know the county is working pretty hard to putting things together, and quite some concerns up there as well. But a good plan, which you don't have to execute, is better than no plan at all.
That's for sure. Some things that we will be looking at, Your Worship, is possibly opening up the facilities in the beach, adding as we mentioned the other night, adding a porta potties to that location just to make sure. Again, the provincial park will be open, but there will be no facilities there open. So it may be taxing on all of us that day. We will not, I am not anticipating staffing the fire department that day. It's at this time, unless we decide that things are getting out of hand and we need to do that.
Okay,
Thank you, Council. Worship.
thank you very much. Okay, if I don't see any other questions. You do have a question.
I
Councilor
don't know
Philcott.
if you can help, but will there be additional police presence at the beach that day if there's going to be that many people?
We
They
don't
are-
know. See, it's all across Elgin County, and the detachment may be stretched.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to call in additional resources, but
That is correct. They're also talking again to regional headquarters to find out what their game plan is. One question that came up was, who do we bill for this? And my response was, this isn't a municipality event. Why are we getting the bill for it? However, it is what it is. It's a natural event.
just because you live here doesn't mean you need to run to the beach to see it. You can see it from your home. But it's the visitors coming into the area, and the beaches will be prime viewing areas. So that's why they expect a great congregation, providing the weather's decent. So,
There will be glasses available. Some will be available through the library. We'll have some. I was told that at the last meeting from the county, they are issuing them out. I do know that the municipality has purchased some for the staff for a health and safety reason, to ensure that if they are looking up, they're not damaging their eyes.
anything else to add by anyone? Again, thank you, Chief.
Your worship.
The motion reads that report FR 0124 regarding the solar eclipse Monday, April the 8th, 2024 be received for information. And that council directs staff to continue to engage the local businesses of the community regarding education of this event. And that council concurs with the planned activation of the Emergency Operations Center for April 5th and April 8th, 2024 to prepare and execute a proportional response for the 2024 solar eclipse. I need a mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Weisler and Councillor Chilcott. Well, second, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item B, report PS 0324 by Steve Adams, Manager of Public Works, Drainage Superintendent, regarding capital item PW 17 GPS surveying equipment. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, your worship, members of council. The report before you is for the procurement, the capital item PW 17, the GPS survey equipment. The capital item was within the 2024 capital budget and is a important piece of equipment to continually improve the asset, the portfolio that identifies opportunity to create more advanced data and work on improving our capital construction infrastructure data, I guess, as well. In the past, staff have been moving forward, working with capital road reconstruction and installation of new drains with no to little mapping. Staff have little to no files on past projects. Generally in the past, it's kind of been using local knowledge for a lot of the stuff, and it's getting harder and harder to find as people are moving out and moving around. So this is a vital piece of equipment that could possibly help municipality in the future. So utilizing GPS system will allow for map data, construction layouts, property stakeouts, just pre-planning projects, better financial planning. And within the body of this report, staff did identify multiple areas within the municipality that can be used, multiple departments. So looking in the future, definitely can be utilized in different areas. So these GPS units, it's recommended a 10-year replacement value, asset life cycle, I guess, for them. However, battery life is the bulk of it. It's 5-year replacement. Software updates, about 5 years is what the suppliers and our neighboring municipalities are telling us, which is relatively cheap, I guess, in the sense of it all. So, but moving forward, a 10-year replacement would definitely be added within the capital budget. And yeah, so staff did reach out to 5 different retailers. And unfortunately, 2 of the retailers didn't want to entertain a quote due to the allocation for the unit. One other retailer that I was in contact with had hopes to send in a quote, but however, never prepared after reaching out many times. So we did end up with 2 different prices, horizontal measurement solutions for $25,000 and benchmark solutions for $30,408.92. Horizontal measurement solutions, they are out of Burlington. Benchmark solutions is out of Alberta. They both offered pretty much identical software, identical features. They both met the specifications. 2-year warranty was included. Training was included with both of them. However, the benchmark solution cost will also have a $2,200 annual charge, which the horizon, they add this in the actual cost. It's a free service through them. So it's a highly utilized in this unit in neighboring municipalities. I haven't heard any negative about it. It's a great asset to have on, especially in my 2 departments, between the drainage, utilizing these for new drains, utilizing them for maintenance on drains, for locating. It'd be a great help. So yeah, staff recommend moving forward with the capital cost. It did come in at our allocated $25,000. And that's excluding HST. So if you have any questions, I'm here to help.
Thank you for that report, Steve. Any questions? Council Chilcott.
Thank you, Steve. What kind of savings financially would we get from using this? Like, because right now we're outsourcing, basically looking these up or just time?
There's going to be, through your worship, there's going to be a few different items. Yes, have we utilized these in the past? We have. We don't because the cost for renting the units are so high. However, we could be bringing in surveyors where won't need them. Road stakeouts, reconstructions, roads where I might bring in a surveyor. This unit could, if the paperwork's there. For instance, today, looking at our future kayak, you know, I can technically lay that out utilizing this without bringing someone in for property location. So there's past savings. It's hard to put a number on it. A large number of this will be on the job sites with my guys, where it may take two of the transits we use now, take two people. This is a one-person operation. So this is really big for construction layouts. Financial reasons moving for capital project, we may be able to get a tighter budget because if we can identify ahead of time what's actually visible in the ground and look ahead for future years, it might be easier for procuring grants just because we'll have a better idea. Obviously, there's going to be some work involved with that. We've discussed within the department, how do we get this data? May have to bring in a student for a summer to collect these assets, but moving forward, we're going to need to know where all our assets are in the ground, including catch basins, culverts, and this will be a real helpful tool. So fortunately, to answer yours, to put an actual number on it, I can't, but I can definitely, from experience utilizing one of these, there's going to be, and talking to our neighbors, there's significant time savings off the top.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Weiser.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Is it a kit, Steve? I'm just curious because I was on their website tooling around trying to find, I'm trying to find which one it is.
Yeah.
So does it include the drone or no?
No, through you, your worship. That's actually a very interesting little part you added to this. This is just a mobile unit. It operates off GPS. I don't need line of sight of our other machine that we use. It can be parked. You can go in our gullies, or this is what it's for. It has drone capability. If we were to procure a drone in the future, it could use the base system of this to find where it's going and map out. Obviously, that's a lot bigger and project to work on, but however, it could be linked up with this. They do offer that service as well.
Steve, who all will be trained on this?
Through your worship, we will. I've already talked to both providers. Pretty much a 4-hour for every one of our staff. All staff members are going to do it. Obviously, figuring the machine out, I have a feeling that's going to be between me and our road supervisor, and then deploying it, getting the better hands on. I know there's going to be some significant learning on this thing. Absolutely. So.
Thank you for that. Any additional questions? All right, seeing none. We have a motion before us that reads a report PS 0324 regarding the capital item PW 17 GPS surveying equipment be received for information. And that council approve the procurement of GPS surveying equipment for Horizon Measurement Solutions, Inc. in the total amount of 25,000 plus HST. I need a mover and seconder, please. Councilor Froze. And Councilor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. Moving on to section 12, Development Services, Sustainability and Conservation. 12.1 corresponds 12.1.1 to receive for information. Item A, notice of public meeting regarding the proposed minor variance A 0324 Schreiber Farms Limited. Item B, notice of public meeting regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 0624 Unger. Item C, notice of public meeting regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 0724 Underhill. And a notice of public meeting regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 0824 Lancusen. Anyone have any questions regarding that pieces of correspondence? If not, I need a mover and seconder for the following, that items 12.1.1A through D be received for information. Deputy Mayor Weiser, Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. Brings us to 12.2, reports to council. We have report DS 0824 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding the rezoning application ZBA 0124 Silverthorne 58224 Heritage Line. Mark?
Thank you, Your Worship. The report before you is for rezoning for a property at 58224 Heritage Line, the business operating as Custerman's Feeds. The applicant has applied to change the zoning on the property from a portion of the property, from agricultural A1 to a site-specific farm commercial FC-1 to permit an agricultural related business or use for the importing and sale of animal feed and fertilizers. The effect of the bylaw would be to permit this agricultural related business and use for the importing of and the sale of animal feed and fertilizers on the subject property, in addition to the existing agricultural operations. The owners have operated this business at the property since October 2021 without the required land use planning approvals and building permits. Staff became aware of the situation and in September 2022 initiated a conversation with the owners to discuss bringing the property into compliance. The pre-consultation meeting was held October 2022, and the rezoning amendment application was received December 12, 2023. Public meeting was held February the 15th, 2024, with only one signed in person being the appointed agent. The planner's memorandum dated February 15th, included in the report, provides an analysis of the zoning amendment application against the Elgin County and Bayham official plan and zoning bylaw. The requested amendment will rezone a portion of the parcel from agricultural to the site-specific farm commercial to allow the owners to continue to operate the existing agricultural-related business. Subsequently, site plan application approval will be required should the zoning amendment be approved by council. Staff and planner concur the rezoning application meets the policies and recommend approval to change the zoning on a portion of the property from A1 to FC1. And I leave it with you, Your Worship, for any questions.
Thank you for that report, Mark. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none? The motion would read the report DS 0824 regarding the Silverthorne rezoning application ZBA 0124 be received for information, and that pursuant to Planning Act Regulations Bill 73, Smart Growth for Our Communities Act 2015. It be pointed out that at the public participation meeting held February the 15th, 2024, associated with this application, there was one oral presentation by the applicant's appointed agent and no written submissions received regarding this matter, and that all considerations were taken into account in council's decision passing this resolution, and that zoning bylaw number Z 456/2003 as amended be further amended by changing the zoning on a portion of the property located at 58224 Heritage Line, described as having 60 meters, 196.9 feet of frontage along Heritage Line, an overall lot area of 0.54 hectares from agricultural A1 to site-specific farm commercial FC1, to recognize an existing agricultural-related business use for the importing and sale of animal feed and fertilizers, and permitting a maximum building floor area of 550 square meters. And that zoning bylaw number Z 769/2024 be presented to council for enactment. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? Councillor Chilcott will move, Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item B, report DS 924 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding the rezoning application ZBA 0224 Underhill, 54190 Vienna Line. Mark.
Thank you, Your Worship. This report is for rezoning application ZBA 0224 Underhill to rezone a property located on Vienna Line at 54190 from Randy and Linda Underhill. Purpose of the rezoning is to rezone two portions of the subject lands as a result of a surplus farm dwelling severance. The severed lot would be changed from A1 to a site-specific rural residential, and the retained lands from A1 to special agricultural A2 to prohibit new dwellings. The effect of the bylaw will be to recognize the residential nature of the newly created residential lot and to prohibit new dwellings on the retained farm parcel in accordance with the official plan and part of clearing the consent conditions for Elgin Land Division Committee File E423. Public meeting was held February the 15th, 2024, with no signed-in attendees and no written public submissions. The staff report originally for the consent application E423 was considered on March 16, 2023. Elgin Land Division Committee granted the consent on March 22nd, 2023, including this condition to rezone both the severed and retained parcels. Staff and planner concur the rezoning application meets the policies and recommends approval to change the zoning on the severed parcel from A1 to site-specific rural residential RR-49 to recognize the minimum front yard depth of 10.5 meters for the existing dwelling and the retained agricultural lands from A1 to special agricultural A2 to prohibit the new dwellings. And I leave it with you, Your Worship, for any questions.
Thank you for that report, Margaret. Does anyone have any questions on this application? See none? I'll read the motion. That report DS 0924 regarding the Underhill rezoning application ZBA 0224 be received for information. And that pursuant to Planning Act Regulations Bill 73, Smart Growth for Our Communities Act 2015, it be pointed out that at the public participation meeting held February the 15th, 2024, associated with this application, there were no attendees, no oral presentations, and no written submissions received regarding this matter, and that all considerations were taken into account in council's decision passing this resolution, and that zoning bylaw number Z 456/2003 as amended be further amended by changing the zoning on a property located in concession 3 lot 5, known municipally as 54190 Vienna Line, from agricultural A1 to special agricultural A2 on the retained lands, and from agricultural A1 zone to a site-specific rural residential RR 449 zone on the severed lands as a condition of consent E423 to permit the severance of a surplus farm dwelling and in accordance to the municipality of Bayham's official plan policies, and that zoning bylaw number Z 770/2024 be presented to council for enactment. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? Deputy Mayor Weisler and Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? It's carried. Moving on with report DS 1024 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding the rezoning application ZBA 0324 Wall, 6780 Richmond Road. Mark, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This report is a rezoning for a property at 6780 Richmond Road. The purpose of the amendment is to rezone the property from institutional to site-specific hamlet residential to recognize the existing rear yard depth of 8 meters, whereas 9 meters is the minimum required, and to permit and develop 2 residential dwelling units, one being an additional residential unit within the existing building or structure on the subject property. The effect of the bylaw will be to permit the development of these 2 residential dwelling units, one being an ARU, additional residential unit, within the building and structure on the subject lands. Public meeting was held February the 15th, 2024, with no signed-in attendees and no person speaking to the application and no written submissions. The planner's memorandum dated February 15th provides an analysis of the zoning amendment against the Bayham official plan and zoning bylaw. The requested amendment will rezone the parcel from institutional to residential to allow the owner to reside in what was once a church. Staff and planner concur the rezoning application meets the policies and recommend approval to change the zoning to change from institutional to site-specific hamlet residential HR-13. And I leave it with you, your worship, for questions.
Thank you very much for that report. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Weiser.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick clarification. Additional living dwelling, does that mean that they have more than, there's multiple units within the
Through your worship, there will be two.
two? units?
There'll be
Okay.
2 dwelling units. Yes.
As described in the planner's report, it suggests that the sanctuary will be one, the existing addition will be the second.
That's what I was, yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Everybody's comfortable? All right. The motion reads, report DS0, get on the right page here. DS 1024 regarding the wall rezoning application ZBA 0324 be received for information, and that pursuant to Planning Act Regulations Bill 73 Smart Growth for Our Communities Act 2015. It be pointed out that at the public participation meeting held February the 15th, 2024, associated with this application, there were no written submissions and no oral presentation received regarding this matter, and that all considerations were taken into account in council's decision passing this resolution. And that zoning bylaw number Z 456/2003 as amended be further amended by changing the zoning on a property located at 6780 Richmond Road in the hamlet of Colton from institutional to site-specific hamlet residential HR-13 to recognize the existing rear yard depth of 8 meters and to permit 2 residential dwelling units, one being an additional residential unit within the existing building structure on the subject property. And that zoning bylaw number Z 771/2024 be presented to council for enactment. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Chilcott will move, Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That's carried. Had a busy month here, Mark.
Yes.
Item E, report DS 1224 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator. Excuse me, I missed one. DS 1124. Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding the rezoning application ZBA 0424 Graham at 11693 Elliott Road.
Thank you, your worship. This rezoning application and report before you is for a property on Elliott Road as stated. Purpose of the amendment is to rezone the subject property as a result of a severance for the creation of a new residential lot. Both the proposed retained and severed lot are to be rezoned from agriculture A1 to rural residential RR zone. The effect of the bylaw will be to recognize the residential nature of the retained lot and the newly created severed lot for a future dwelling. All this is part of the clearing of consent conditions for the Elgin Land Division Committee file number E33-23. Public meeting was held February the 15th, 2024, with no signed-in attendees and no written public submissions. Previously, staff report DS 3523 regarding the consent application, along with the planner's memorandum, was presented and considered on June 1st, 2023. The Elgin Land Division Committee conditionally granted the consent on June 28, 2023, and included the condition to rezone both the severed and retained parcels. The consent application was in the name of Melvin and Calvin Baldwin originally. However, the property was sold to York Graham, and he continues as the owner to complete the severance process. Staff and planner concur the rezoning application meets the policies and recommend approval to change the zoning on both the severed and retained parcels from A1 agricultural to rural residential RR. And I leave it with you, your worship, for questions.
Thank you very much for that. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. The motion would read the report DS 1124 regarding the Graham rezoning application ZBA 0424 be received for information. And that pursuant to Planning Act Regulations Bill 73, Smart Growth for Our Communities Act 2015, it be pointed out that at the public participation meeting held February the 15th, 2024, associated with this application, there were no attendees, no oral presentations, and no written submissions received regarding this matter. And that all considerations were taken into account in council's decision passing this resolution, and that zoning bylaw number Z 456, 2003 as amended be further amended by changing the zoning on a property located in lot 15 concession 10, known municipally as 11693 Elliott Road, from agricultural A1 to rural residential on both the severed and retained as a condition of consent E 3323 to permit the creation of a new lot. And that zoning bylaw number Z 772 2024 be presented to council for an act. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? Councilor Probst will move and Councilor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. Item E. Report DS 1224 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding the official plan amendment number 36, Underhill Farms Limited, 55032 Vienna Line.
Thank you, your worship. This one is a little bit different. Now we're talking official plan amendment rather than zoning. OPA 0124 Underhill Farms Limited for a property at 55032 Vienna Line. Proposed before you is official plan amendment number 36. The purpose of the amendment is to add a new site-specific subsection to the OP to permit the severance of an existing dwelling made surplus through farm consolidation that does not conform to official plan section 2.1.7.1. The effect of the official plan amendment will be to permit the severance of a surplus farm dwelling from a farm parcel where more than one dwelling and severance of a surplus farm dwelling had previously occurred on the subject lands as a result of a farm consolidation. The public meeting was held February 15th, 2024. There were no presentations, no oral or written public submissions. The owner wishes to sever an existing dwelling made surplus through farm consolidation that does not conform to the official plan. The official plan section 2.1.7.1 currently requires where a farm parcel with more than one existing dwelling is being consolidated into a farm operation, only one dwelling may be severed from that farm parcel, and no more than one severance of a surplus dwelling shall be allowed from an original farm parcel, regardless of changes in boundary or ownership. The attached municipal planner's memorandum dated February 15 provides the details and rationale for the recommendation to adopt OPA 36. The draft OPA is attached to the report for your consideration. Should council adopt the OPA, it will then be forwarded to the approval authority, the County of Elgin, for consideration. Following the approval of the OPA, the applicant plans to submit a consent application to sever the dwelling from the lands. Municipal recommended consent conditions will include a zoning amendment to meet the official plan policies for the severance of surplus farm dwellings. And I leave it with you, your worship, for questions.
All right, thank you very much for that report. Does anyone have any questions on this OPA amendment? Okay. The last statement that you made, Marg, is that include zoning amendments to meet the official plan policies. I would assume that would be a rezoning of the retained to something like an A2.
That is correct, your worship.
Okay. Seeing no further questions, The motion would read, the staff report DS 1224 regarding the official plan amendment application OPA 0124 submitted by Underhill Farms Limited be received for information. And that pursuant to Planning Act Regulations Bill 73 Smart Growth for Our Communities Act 2015, it be pointed out that at the public participation meeting held February the 15th, 2024, associated with this application, there were no presentations and no oral or written public submissions, and that all considerations were taken into account in council's decision passing this resolution, and that council considers the proposed amendment to add a site-specific text section to the official plan to be consistent with the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and in conformity to the Elgin County Official Plan and the Municipality of Bayham Official Plan. And that bylaw number 2024-011 being an adopting bylaw for official plan amendment number 36 for the purpose of adding a new site-specific subsection to permit the severance of a surplus farm dwelling from a farm parcel where more than one dwelling and severance of a surplus farm dwelling had previously occurred on the subject lands as a result of farm consolidation that does not conform to official plan section 2.1.7.1 be presented for enactment. And that adopted official plan amendment number 36 be forwarded to the County of Elgin for approval. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? Deputy Mayor Weiser will move, Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. Item F, report DS 1324 by Margaret Underhill, Planning Coordinator, Deputy Clerk, regarding permit by rule framework proposal. Mark, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is my last one. Okay. So this report is provided to you really for information. Council will recall that back on December 7th, there was some correspondence received in regards to the MECP or Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks permit by rule proposal. So really before you is Arcadis memo giving you some insight into that proposal, giving you more information as requested. And really it's just presented, as I said, for information. And you can do with that as you wish. So I'll leave it with you, Your Worship.
All right, thank you for that. Comments, questions? Does it answer your questions, Deputy Mayor?
It does, through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Councilor Chilcott.
Thank you. Was this not report requested for us to have more information on whether we want to support the documents from Prince Edward County?
Correct.
So would we not be doing that now, making that decision or no?
That's why I asked you if you had any comments, questions. Furtherance of action.
I don't think we should make the rules any more lax. I think we should support Prince Edward.
If I read the memorandum based from Arcadis, it's talking about very specific areas of where they are lessening the scrutiny. But there are other areas, for example, wastewater treatment or something like this, which is still going to require the environmental assessment process. However, recent EAs in the area seem to be accelerated. So, Councillor Chilcott, what is your desire?
But it does say that they want to expand the permit by rule to waste management and biomedical hazardous waste, liquid industrial waste. And I don't think that that should be made any easier, that we need to keep that type of thing under control.
So what is your recommendation? What would you like to do?
That we support Prince Edward County in their or the letter that they sent.
would be nice if we had that original resolution before us.
Yeah, would, adopt a resolution that supports the Prince Edward County Council resolution.
Yes, so I have the resolution in front of me. Essentially, the resolved portion is therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of Prince Edward County supports the concerns outlined by the Quinte Conservation Authority and urges the province to stop the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks proposal to expand the use of the permit by rule to waste management systems, stormwater management systems, and certain water taking activities.
Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. And I don't mean to put staff on the spot, but I would, since our water wastewater manager is here, I wouldn't mind having him, oh, no, okay. Either way, no comment, okay. No, thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. Just a comment that since this came forward, I really haven't seen a lot of information coming back on it. I'm not sure. Like at this point, I haven't even seen that the province has adopted anything further. So I think we can receive it for information, and I'd be fine with just receiving it for information and taking no further action.
Well, I appreciate the comment. We do have a motion on the floor without a seconder. So I would assume, Counselor Chilcott, you'd be willing to receive the report for information and offer support to the Prince Edward County resolution.
Correct.
Do we have a seconder for that? Question or
May I
a
ask
second?
Just a question.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the deputy mayor and Councillor Chilcott say the same thing?
No. No, the deputy mayor was proposing simply to receive for information at this point.
Okay.
But we had a motion on the floor first from Counselor Chilcott, which was to
Support
receive and support.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna second either one of them.
Okay. Well,
No.
that's fine, that's fine. From a process point of view,
Sorry.
your motion is defeated.
No, sorry. I was just,
You're kidding.
can I correct? I would like to receive for information as well.
Okay, you're gonna put the motion on the floor to receive for information, Deputy Mayor,
Yes, sir.
and you will second that?
Yes.
Okay. That's where we're gonna land.
Mhm.
So moved by Deputy Mayor Weiser, seconded by Councillor Froze, that report DS 1324 regarding the MECP permit by rule framework proposal be received for information. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. That was entertaining. We have a few minutes before we have to adjourn for a quarter revision. So let us deal with section 13, finance and administration, 13.1 correspondence, 13.1.1 to receive for information. 5 items. Township of Perry regarding amend blue box regulations for ineligible sources. Item 2, County of Renfrew regarding affordability of water and wastewater systems. Item 3, Prince Edward County regarding the review of Ontario Works and the Ontario Disability Support Program financial assistance rates. 4, Municipality of Tweed regarding energy transition. And 5, the Elgin Ontario Health Team regarding Connect My Health. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding any of these items of information? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. This 13.1.1B. It's just an interesting read, just a comment that I sit on the AMO board with Warden Iman, and this has been an ongoing issue, but it's everywhere. So I just thought, yeah. Affordability of water and wastewater systems. We know the struggle.
Absolutely. If I may add to that conversation, I would simply say that the county the other day supported this particular resolution. In fact, I authorized signature to a letter, very succinct on this issue to the premier.
Mhm.
Any other comments from anyone? Trying to stretch 4 minutes here. Okay, seeing no comments. I'll be, take a mover and seconder for the following, that items 13.1.1 A through E be received for information. Counselor Chilcott will move. Counselor Frodes will second. All in favor? And that's carried. We have 3 minutes before, the quarter revision. I'll be, I call a 3-minute break.
We're muted. Mr. Spreet is on the call. We're good to go.
All right, welcome back. We're going to suspend from our regular agenda to move into a quarter revision for Thursday, March the 7th, 2024. This quarter revision deals with the Peters Drain Branch D. And I've called the meeting to order at 8 p.m. Remind the court of any disclosures of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. The purpose of the meeting, we're dealing with Peters Municipal Drain Branch D Notice of Quarter Revision pursuant to Chapter D 17, Section 41, that is, of the Drainage Act. The purpose of the quarter revision is to provide an opportunity for any person or body entitled to receive notice to appeal their assessment as per Engineers Report 2222225, dated December 6th, 2023, as prepared by Spreet and Associates. And at this time, we will entertain a staff presentation. That's report DR 0424 by Steve Adams, Manager of Public Works, Drainage Superintendent, regarding the Peters Drain Branch D quarter revision. And I turn it over to your capable hands, Mr. Adams.
Thank you. So, yes, this quarter revision is to discuss or hear any appeals on the assessment to the Peters Drain Branch D, dated December 6th, 2023. We've already have had a discussion about the design work, and that went through. So here we are to discuss the assessment on the drain. Again, this was a very straightforward drain installation. This was for a condition of severance. Spreet's associate had submitted. Staff to date have not received any written correspondence towards this date. John is online, our municipal drainage engineer. If there's any questions to speak on this drain, myself or John will hopefully be able to answer them.
Thank you very much for that, and good evening, John. Does any member of the court have any questions for either Mr. Spreet and or staff? All right, that's pretty easy. I would invite any public participation. Does anyone from the public wish to ask any questions? Okay. We're moving on to section 6 of the disposition of the item then. The motion would read the report DR 0424 regarding the Peters Drain Branch D quarter revision be received for information. And that the quarter revision acknowledge that no appeals have been received with respect to the Peters Drain Branch D assessments outlined in the engineer's report number 222225. And at the engineer report number 222225 dated December 6th, 2023 for the Peters Drain Branch D Hampton Drain improve. That's a spelling or a typo, excuse me. Peters Drain improvements be adopted as presented. And that corresponding bylaw number 2024-004 be presented to council for a third and final reading. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? Court member Froze. What do you got? Yep, thank you. And I assume member Weiser will second. All in favor? That's carried. Brings us to the adjournment motion that the quarter revision for the Peters drain improvements be adjourned at 8:04 p.m. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? Member Chilcott and member Froze. All in favor? That is carried. Court is adjourned. Brings us back to our regular agenda where we left off. at section 13.2, reports to council. So, report CAO 0424 by Thomas Thayer, CAO regarding Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund application, the Eden Pumping Station expansion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So today with me as well is Mr. Rolison, Manager of Water and Wastewater, in case there are any questions. So the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund is a fund of approximately $200 million over 3 years, with the intent to support infrastructure related to housing growth, particularly in areas of critical drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure. As council is aware, they have approved the Eden Pump Station expansion in the capital budget, and have previously received a report and presentation from CJDL Consulting Engineers regarding the design and implementation of capacity upgrades at the Eden Sanitary Pump Station. So with respect to the Housing Enabling Water System Fund, stormwater, wastewater, and the water system are items that can be included. This includes pumping stations, storage tanks on the sanitary system. So the Eden Pump Station would qualify. And for projects to be eligible under this fund, they must include a capital component, which this does, enabling housing development, again, which this does expand capacity in Eden on the sanitary system, start no later than September 30th. So it has to be shovel ready or design ready. And we've been working with CJDL on this and are confident that this would meet the starting deadline of September the 30th. The fund will fund up to 73.33% of an eligible approved project, with the applicant municipality identifying the balance, which is 26.67% of project funds. The deadline is April the 19th, 2024. So in light of the eligibility criteria, the municipality is seeking council's support to make an application to the fund for the Eden Pump Station expansion. This project has been approved in the capital budget. It is capital item WW04, estimated at $250,000. So if this is selected for funding, we would be able to offset approximately $183,000 with the balance funded through reserve funds. So wastewater or development charges. And then given the development interest in Eden and the desire of funding agencies to support shovel-ready projects, this is BAM's best opportunity to leverage this fund in support of expanded core infrastructure and housing capacity in the municipality. So Mr. Mayor, I will leave it with you for any questions. Myself and Mr. Rolison are available. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that report. Does anyone from council have any questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Just when the application is submitted, how long till we know if we are successful?
I don't have an answer to that question. However, I would suggest that it has to be fairly quick, since the start date, the last day for official project start would be September the 30th. So there must be a pretty quick turnaround. I would also suggest that this puts us in a relatively good position because it's not a major ask. We're asking for approximately $183,000 in support of the project. And $200 million in total over 3 years for a grant opportunity isn't large for the entire province. So I think this project is very much right-sized for what BAM has going right now. I think it puts us in a good spot. We'd be hopeful to hear over the summer.
All right, the only additional comment I would put to that is I think this will be highly competitive. So I think there'll be a lot of people into it. I think this is an opportunity we shouldn't miss.
Right.
Okay. We have a motion before us that reads that report CAO 0424 regarding the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund application, the Eden Pumping Station expansion be received for information, and that council of the Corporation and Municipality of BAM supports an application to the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund for an expansion of the Eden Pumping Station. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Chilcott will move. Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That is carried. And I'd like someone to pronounce the acronym.
Husef?
Houston. Okay. Item B, we'll start down this road, report CAO 0524 by Tom Slater, CAO, regarding the extension of site plan agreement 2434378 Ontario Limited, that's Innovative Quality Manufacturing, Inc. at 56568 and 56616 Talbot Line, BAM, application number SPA 0422. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this report was originally brought to council. It was CAO 1423 last year. It was an information report to advise that under delegated authority, the municipality, under my signature, had entered into a site plan agreement with Innovative Quality Manufacturing for expansion at the properties noted in the report. So the report at the time identified that under section 28 of the agreement, the development was to be completed in full by March 2nd, 2024. In February of 2024, the municipality received a request from Innovative to amend the agreement by extending the date noted in section 28 until May 15th, 2024, due to labor and other impacts that have delayed completion of the project. Staff have since drafted and executed an amending agreement with Innovative to ratify this extension. The extension is for a period of approximately 2.5 months to permit completion of the work. The amending agreement was executed on February 29th of this year. A copy of this amending agreement is attached to the report for council's information. And given that this is executed under delegated authority under the municipality's site plan control bylaw, this report and the attachment are provided for information purposes only. I'm available for questions.
Thank you for that, Thomas. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, the motion will read that report CAO 0524 regarding the extension of site plan agreement 2434378 Ontario Limited, Innovative Quality Manufacturing at 56568 and 56616 Talbot Line, BAM, application number SPA 0422 be received for information. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Weiser, Councilor Chilcott, all in favor? It's carried. I think we'll just hold on for a couple of minutes and then we'll get into a public meeting. Welcome back. we are going to suspend from our regular agenda again and move into a drainage public meeting. And just for the record, it is Thursday, March the 7th, 2024. We're dealing with the Eden Drain Branch C. So it is 8:15, and I will call this public meeting to order. I will remind members of any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. Seeing none noted. So as to the purpose of the meeting, pursuant to chapter D 17, section 41 of the Drainage Act, the purpose of the public meeting is to consider engineer's report number 220242 regarding the proposed construction of the Eden Drain Branch C, servicing parts of lot 23, concession 9, municipality of Bayham. At this point, we'll entertain a staff report. That's report DR 0524 by Steve Adams, Manager of Public Works, Drainage Superintendent, regarding the Eden Drain Branch C consideration report. Steve, please.
Thank you. So before you is the public meeting to consider the report, filed on February 5th, 2024, by Spreets and Associates. The meeting is to consider the design aspects of this drain. So this drain, as noted, was filed by David O'Barr and Jessica Kane. And this is for the creation of 2 new lots on their current property for condition of severance. So if you guys do have your plans, Eden Branch C was a drain that was installed earlier. Unfortunately, I didn't have that date in front of me, but it was a drain already installed across the frontage of the property to service some additional lots. The ask here with the condition for an outlet was to, for this property, was actually rather easy. It was, the design comes back as 3 additional catch basins are added to the line. The municipal engineer has done their homework on flow capacity. And so, ideally, branch C is now opened up a bigger area. So this will also, be adjusted for future maintenance as well. There's going to be more people on the drain to help pay for the future maintenance costs. Again, this is very straightforward. This is paid by the developer. There's no additional cost to neighboring landowners. I do want to make one note. It's more for the assessment. However, there's a little bit of a design change, only because we found that there's a little bit of apportionment of the map that was missed on here. It's outlined between severed lot 2 and I guess it'd be the M Bolton lot. There's a little sliver that had to get reapportioned to the neighboring property behind, which is a Van Quathan property. So letters were sent 8 days ago just to identify that. There was really no change to anything, the design, the mapping. So now you can see that the whole area, so on I guess the right side of your map, those 3 lots, that was Eden Branch D, or sorry, Eden Branch C. Now you can see the drainage outline, the dotted line, that covers the severed lot 1, retained lot, and severed lot 2. So pretty straightforward. This is going to be up to the property owner. He's going to install these 3, have a approved contractor install these 3 catch basins. If there's any questions, again, Mr. Spreet's online, and I am here to take some questions.
All right, John, do you have any additional remarks you wish to make at this point, or you're good?
No, your worship.
Okay, thank you. At this point, if there's anyone from the public that wishes to make any comment on the design of the drain, please attend the podium. And I believe you have a sign-in
Yep.
sheet there, Steve. Any comments? You'd like to make a comment?
Of the cost, if there's cost.
Be a quarter revision question, or can you
Yeah,
deal
that
with
would-
this outside?
Yeah, that'd be better that you and I can talk after, or it can be brought, if I'll recommend to bring to the quarter revision if it
Sure.
comes to that.
Yeah, tonight we're talking about the design. The quarter revision will be down the road, but still, if Steve will make himself
Yep.
available to you, yes, have your questions then, okay? So any other members of the public who have any questions regarding the design? Correspondence?
No
None?
correspondence received.
Okay. Members of council, have you got any questions? Okay, we are moving then into the disposition. The motion would read the report BR 0524 regarding the Eden Drain Branch C consideration report received for information. And that in accordance with sections 44 to 46 of the Drainage Act, the Council of the Corporation Municipality of Bayham hereby adopts Street Associates Report number 223217, dated January 29th, 2024, referred to as the Eden Drain Branch C report, and that provisional bylaw number 2024-010 be given a first and second reading, and that the clerk be directed to distribute copies of the provisional bylaw and notice of the time and place of the first sitting of the quarter revision to the affected parties pursuant to section 46(2) of the Drainage Act, and that a date of April the 4th, 2024 at 8 p.m. be set for the first sitting of the quarter revision. Do we have a mover and seconder for that? Councilor Chilcott, Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? And that is carried. Brings us to the adjournment. That pursuant to the Drainage Act requirements, the public meeting is now complete at 8:21 p.m. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Weiser, Councilor Chilcott, all in favor? That is carried. Good. So now we'll return to our regular scheduled agenda. Okay? All right, I believe we left off at the bylaws, section 14. Just get them up here. There are a few to consider this evening. We have bylaw number 2024-010 being a provisional bylaw to provide for drainage works in the municipality of Bayham in the county of Elgin, known as Eden Drain Branch C. Bylaw number 2024-011 being a bylaw to adopt OPA number 36. Bylaw number Z 769-2024 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 456-2003 as amended, Silverthorne. Bylaw number Z 770-2024 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 456-2003 as amended, Underhill. Bylaw number Z 771-2024 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 456-2003 as amended, Wall. And bylaw number Z 772-2024 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z 456-2003 as amended, Graham. Anyone have any questions, concerns regarding the bylaws? Then I need a mover and seconder for the following, that bylaw number 2024-010 be read a first and second time. Councilor Chilcott, Councilor Froese. All in favor? That's carried. And a mover and seconder for the following, that bylaw numbers 2024-011, Z 769-2024, Z 770-2024, Z 771-2024, and Z 772-2024 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Mover and seconder? Deputy Mayor Weiser, Councilor Chilcott, all in favor? That is carried. Which brings us to section 15, unfinished business. I don't believe we have. Section 16, other business, be going in camera. So, motion reads that council do now rise to enter into an in-camera session at 8:24 p.m. to discuss confidential item regarding the sale or disposition of land, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, Bay Street. And item B, confidential item regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual. Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Chilcott, Counselor or Deputy Mayor Weiser, all in favor? That is carried.